first came to Cleveland, I think 2 years ago, I was introduced to the space. First and foremost, saw the museum and the collection. I was here for a really short amount of time, but we got to go to the lake. I took my daughter to the Natural History Museum as well, and that was influential. I've never been to Cleveland before or participated in anything really Ohio. So it was the first time being here. And I think one of the things that I was sort of struck by was industry and how humans are able to dream up sort of an incredible manifestation of our dreams of civilization, right? And that it's only a sort of a blip in this timeline of creation. At the base of the piece, there's a layer that is underground, right? It's deep underground, it's prehistory, and there's a mystical creature that wraps itself around in bone form, right? And inside that is this these rugged pieces of really ancient mountain. It's the raw material of the past in a sense, right? But it's still there, right? It's what's holding it all up. Around the base, around the feet of the beings are seismic braille. I felt like it was really important for people to be able to run their fingers along the dots of welds, of spot welds, and sort of feel that in their body. In a sense, like we're always influenced by the movement of the earth. And then above that is sort of the strata itself, and it's the layers of the earth. In New Mexico, when they cut a road through a hill, you'll see the different colors of the earth showing through, and then it kind of erodes, and it makes it's this really beautiful sculptural form in different colors. And that was the inspiration for the body. At the bottom of the bust is sort of where humanity begins. That is our context. That's the hills, that's the cities, the landscapes that humans create and perceive, right? And then we have our human. That's where we live, in that space, right? And we are in this moment of perception with eyes, nose, mouth, ears. We are witnessing, we are hearing, we are smelling, we are being in this space. And we exist between the dream world and the spiritual place where we are in inspiration and thought, and that manifestation where we pull thought into creation itself. And then the rain cloud, it comes back down all the way around. So it becomes a circle. There's two of them and they're witnessing each other. These pieces made my shop feel really small, and people would come by and I'd be like, hey, they're going to this place. And I'd show them on my phone the expanse of this room, and saying, these look really big here, but we have to make them hold space in here, right? I mean, this room itself is so human. It represents to me this crazy manifestation of our dreams. Someone one time decided to close in the space with this massive glass ceiling. So the aluminum frame that's on the top of the heads is sort of similar to this, casting shadows and creating the architecture of our world. I was very inspired by this space, and to make beings that exist in this space and remind us that this is incredible and this is monumental, but it's also a blip in the story of time. And we humans are very silly things, right? When we forget that we're a part of this much, much bigger story. And I think the role of art and humanity is to give us back that patience to perceive the world around us. However we walk through the world, that we take a little bit longer to find the respect to perceive differently. So I made these art pieces in an art museum, but it's right by the entrance. It sort of presents like an introduction to how you then enter the rest of the museum. It presents you with a thesis statement that says, how are you going to perceive what you're about to see? Is it other than yourself, or is it actually you in reflection? And how do you see all things as a piece of yourself? Because we are this entire creation. We are all of it all at once. And when we see it as other, we have objectified it, and that's when we can judge and hurt it. But if we see it as ourself, then we experience and interact with it in a more respectful way.
They're like watchful guardians in a way. There's almost an effortless quality to them being here, even though it was quite a great deal of labor and effort on the artist's part. They sort of seem like they were just beamed down from somewhere and look so perfectly situated here.
This is the first time they all stacked up, because my studio is not this tall. They're about 25, 27 feet. Altogether, I believe they're a little over 2,000 pounds, maybe about 2,500. I'm really grateful, it's incredibly grateful for what it's taught me about access and support and collaboration and family and friendship. I'm also humbled by it and how much work it was and what us little people are able to do, you know, when we put a dream out there. And then also trying to stay as long as I can in suspended disbelief, because that's what it's trying to teach us to do, is to be like, can you be and listen in a sense that's past your head, and close your eyes and listen to what it's trying to tell you in a different way. So when I sit in my silence, it'll speak to me more. And I hope it does that for other people too.